right, guys. What's up? What's up? What's up? This is Tony Vinchell again. We're going to try this again. Please, please, please let me know if you can see me. Let me know if you can hear me. I just sent out a brand new link, and hopefully we can see, or you guys can see me, and we can chat and all that kind of stuff, and the chat is enabled and all of that. Let me know if you got it. Let me know if you got it. If you got the link, please go ahead and comment so that I can see you. It's still disabled? You have got to be kidding me. No, come on. Wow, I don't understand. Okay, I just clicked something. Is it enabled now? This is so crazy. Okay, that's different. Okay. Okay, I just threw something in there. Wow. Okay. Okay. I do not understand this. Let me troubleshoot really quickly. Hold on. Why is the chat and comment disabled on my YouTube Hangout? She says, is live broadcaster selected in the channel settings? Let me see. I'm not even sure where to find that. Under features. Okay, hold on. One moment. Okay. All right. So I don't really know what's going on, but I'm looking here at everything is enabled. I'm looking here at I guess other people who have. Let me see. What is she? What's up, Taryn? Am I supposed to copy and paste the link? You should be able to click on it. Let me paste it here. Wow. Let me just paste it here. Okay, so everything is enabled, and evidently this is a known issue because I'm looking up here and a lot of people are having the same issue. Okay, so here's how we're gonna go ahead and do this, because I have no idea why that it's, you know, everything is enabled, everything is turned on, everything is the way that it should be, and for some reason it is still not allowing. Hold on one moment. This is a more recent one. Let me just check and see if maybe I can fix it here. If I can't fix it here, we're going to go ahead and go. We're going to go ahead and move on forward. It says, okay. So clearly there's no solution to this because everybody is posting the same thing as recent as just a couple of days ago. So guys, if you were just hopping on, I really apologize. What is happening is that you guys can hear me, you guys can see me, but unfortunately you will not be able to comment or chat. There's something going on, I guess, because I initiated the Hangout from my Google Plus page. It is disabling the comments. So if you registered and you went to if you go to my Facebook page, if you have any questions, the A Stronger You Fitness, it says it's because oh God, who put this here? Who is this? Somebody just said it's because we're trying to get information. Who said that? Kirby, she says it's because we're trying to we're getting information and the internet don't want us to. Y'all are a mess. Okay, so this is how we're gonna do this. This is how we're gonna do this because we got to move on, and I want to make sure you guys get the information. And I'm not about to let the internet shut me down because that's just not how I get down. So this is what we're gonna do. If you have questions, there's one or two. What's up, Kirby? There's one or two things that you can do. You can ask me questions if you're on Twitter. Shoot me a Twitter at A Stronger You, or if you're on my Facebook page, the A Stronger You Fitness Facebook page, go ahead and drop your questions on there because I've got my phone right here. I've got my pages open here. And so anytime you type a question or anything, I'm going to be able to see that. So if you heard what I said, again, what we're going to do, because it's not enabling the comments and the chat feature for whatever reason or another. What we're going to do is if you have questions as I go along, and I will stop to make sure that you can ask your questions, you can ask me those questions on the Facebook page. if you can do me a favor and just ask them directly on the page instead of sending me a private message, because I refuse to download the Facebook Messenger to my phone because I just refuse to do it. Then it'll be a lot easier for me to answer them. So what I will do is I will see them and then I will go ahead and answer them from there. Okay. Is everybody okay with that? If you guys are okay with that, go ahead and drop me a note on my Facebook page. Please, 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 please. So we can go ahead and get started. I want to make sure you guys get this information. And I'm not about to have the internet shut me down. What I will do is the next time we do one of these webinars, because this is going to be weekly, every Tuesday, we're going to talk about a different topic. What I will do is I will use a different forum so that we don't have this problem again. This is, I've never had this particular problem with YouTube and Google Plus, but this is the second time I've had an issue with this. So that just means that, you know, for YouTube and Google Plus, this is about to be a wrap. So if you guys are okay with that, please drop me a note and say I'm cool with it or I'm okay with it. Let's go ahead and get started. If you're okay with it, drop me a note so I know you're still here. Okay. Kirby says yes. Taryn says I'm in. Taryn says I'm in. All right. What's up, girly? How you doing? Okay, guys, let's go. Let's get it. Let's go ahead and do it. All right. So, okay, great. So here we go. Let me go ahead and make sure that this presentation is ready. And I believe that it is. And we are going to go ahead and get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to the presentation. We'll be switching back and forth between the presentation and me, because there is one item that I actually want to be able to show you guys physically. Cool. All right. So let's do this. Here we go. We are on screen share. Okay. So right now you should be able to see the first page of my presentation. ASU-FiT, A Stronger You Fitness presents Hold My Fat Metabolism Webinar. If you can see that, oh, okay. So Fred says, not sure if you can see it, but it looks like Q&A is available in the Hangout. So yes, I did click that. Hold on. Let me go ahead and let me click this again. So I'm going to open it. If you guys can comment in Q&A. Oh, okay. What's up, Fred? I see you. Okay. Anna says she can see me. Okay, great. Awesome. I'm excited now. All right, let's do it. So if you can, I'm going to screen share again. And let me know if you can see the first page of the presentation. It says A Stronger You Fitness Hold My Fat Metabolism Webinar. If you can see it, say yes, and we're ready to go. Thank you, Fred, so much for that, because I had turned it on and then I had turned it back off because, you know, everybody was saying they couldn't see it. So I guess some people can see it, some people can't. I know there's a 40-second delay. So if you can see it, say yes, and we're moving on. All right, I got one yes. I think I got another one. Hold on. Let me tell you something. He says yes. Okay, we're moving on. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and get started. Again, I apologize for the delay, but it's all right. We're going to make this thing happen. So let's get some housekeeping. Hopefully by this point, you guys have already done all of this. Make sure that you're in a quiet place. You got all of your materials ready. There is not going to be a replay of this training, of this webinar. So please, please, please make sure you take notes, and please make sure that you ask any and all questions that you want to that you want to ask while we have the time. I want to be respectful of your time, because I know we're already running late, but I also know that that you may have a lot of questions about some of the things that we're going to be talking about today. So I want to make sure that that I honor that. So here we go. So this is what we're going to be talking about on this webinar. So by the end of this webinar, you're going to be able to understand exactly what metabolism is. You'll understand what body composition is and why it's important. I'm going to show you exactly how you can obtain your own body fat measurements. And I'm going to help you determine, or show you how to determine exactly where you hold the most body fat and exactly what that means. And we'll get into that a little bit later, because a lot of times we go through these weight loss programs and you have those one or two areas that just will not move. And sometimes there are some things going on that are not necessarily clear on the surface. So the last thing we're going to talk about is just a few simple and basic dietary and lifestyle adjustments that can be made to help you out with those areas. And again, if you guys have any questions, I will be stopping off and on to make sure that I can ask for questions. But if you have them, pop them up on Facebook, or pop them up right here on the chat box. All right. So again, make sure you stay to the end, because I am going to be doing a drawing for a free gift, because I like giving away free stuff. If you've ever been on any one of my webinars before, you know that I love to give away free stuff. So please make sure that you stay until the very end. So really quickly, for those of you who may not necessarily know me, okay, so I am Tony Vinchale. My full name is Atandra Vinchale Gilstrap, but I go by Tony because I get tired of people mispronouncing my name. And my middle name just sounds really cool. So I am the founder and owner of A Stronger You Fitness, ASU-FiT, and the founder of the Becoming a Stronger You movement. That is my beautiful family that you guys are looking at right there. Me, my husband, and my 4 beautiful kids. They're actually a lot older and a lot taller now than they were when they took this picture. That's a picture of me. I am a graduate of the University of Houston downtown. So just to give you an idea of what my qualifications are, in case you may have any questions about that. So here we go. I have a degree in biological and physical sciences with special concentration in biochemistry and human metabolism from the University of Houston downtown. So that's my bachelor's in education. I am also a certified personal trainer through the American College of Sports Medicine. I have been certified as a metabolic technician and weight loss coach. I am also precision nutrition level 1 in sports and exercise nutrition. That's my certification there. I do metabolism-based meal planning through that platform. And I've also had research experience with MD Anderson Cancer Center, Rice University, as well as University of Houston downtown. So again, just giving you a little bit of background about myself so that you understand exactly where I come from, and so that you can understand why I am even qualified to have this conversation with you. So moving on, why am I doing this? So the reason why I like to do these webinars is because a huge part of my movement, the Becoming a Stronger You movement, is to get people to take an active role in your health and in your fitness. There are a lot of excuses that we can come up with. I don't understand things. I can't afford a personal trainer. I can't afford a nutrition coach. I didn't go to school for exercise physiology, so I don't understand what metabolism means, and I don't understand what body fat is. So what I'm wanting to do is help take away some of those excuses that we use and teach people some usable information and give you some practical steps that you can start using today to help you on your health and fitness journey. And I also want to make sure that people have an appreciation for what it is that we do as nutrition coaches and as personal trainers, because a lot of times people think that we just pull plans from the internet and we just take people into the gym and we beat them down. And a lot of nutrition coaches and personal trainers do that. However, there are a lot more of us who do not. So there we go. That's the purpose. Now that we are done with the pleasantries, let's go ahead and move forward. Please make sure that you are taking notes because I will be asking questions, and some of these questions will be necessary for you to answer when it is time for you to start vying for your free gifts. All right. So what exactly is metabolism, and what the hell does that have to do with the fact that my body fat, oh, sorry about that. I cussed, my kids are right here. What does that have to do with the fact that I cannot lose body fat in my stomach? What does my metabolism have to do with the fact that I cannot lose this body fat that I have in my upper back? What does this have to do with the fact that I cannot lose body fat around my knees? Well, here's the thing. So a lot of people assume that metabolism is just defined as how your body takes in and breaks down food. And that is actually a very incomplete definition, because metabolism is a sum of all of the processes that are needed for you to grow, develop, reproduce, damage, or repair any damage that has been done to your body, and how you respond to factors on the outside. So factors like pollution, inflammation, and stress. So all of these things are included in the definition of metabolism. So when you start talking about whether or not somebody has a fast metabolism or whether or not somebody has a slow metabolism, you're really giving an incomplete definition, because you're not taking into account how their body repairs their cells, how your body repairs your damage, how your body reproduces new cells, and all of these things that are going on inside our bodies biochemically that we need to have. You don't necessarily need to have a deep understanding of, but you need to at least have a basic understanding of, if that makes any sense. Again, I know that I talk fast. And I'm a science major, and I try not to use a whole lot of technical terms, but if I ever say anything that you don't understand, or if I went over something too quickly, please let me know, and I will be more than happy to go back over that for you. So what are some of the things that affect our metabolism? A lot of times when you talk to trainers or you talk to nutritionists and you ask them about metabolism, all they're going to tell you is, exercise and make sure that you eat your vegetables. But again, giving an incomplete definition, they're not giving you all of the factors that affect your metabolism, like how your body handles its free radicals, how your body handles some of the toxins that come into our body because of the air that we breathe and the food that we eat and the water that we drink. How does your body balance your blood sugar? How does your body balance your hormones? How do you handle your stress? And that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about a lot on this particular webinar. I don't think that people understand the impact that your stress levels have on your metabolism. How does your body handle inflammation? If you know anything about basic science or about basic health, one of the things that you can study and one of the things that you can find out is that inflammation is going to be one of the bases of many of the neurological and cardiovascular and metabolic diseases that we suffer with. Here are some other things that people don't talk about, though. Your age. And I want you to go ahead and take this note down, because there are some things that we need to talk about when we start talking about age. And this is going to help answer some of the questions about why we hold body fat in certain areas and why we're not able to lose body fat in certain areas. A lot of times people will tell you that age is nothing but a number. And for a lot of things in our lives, age is nothing but a number. But metabolically, one of the things that we have to understand is as you age, your metabolism slows down. Whether you want to admit it or not, I don't care what supplements you take. I don't care what program you are on. As your body ages, as you age, your metabolism slows down. Now, are there some things that you can do to increase your metabolism and get it back to where it was when you were younger? Absolutely. But it is very important to understand that your metabolism really does slow down. And this, a lot of times, causes more issues for women than it does for men, because women have so many different things going on hormonally as we age that men don't experience. And all of these things affect our metabolism as well. your gender. Okay. Men deal with different stressors and factors than women do. I know we can all get into the gym, we can work out the same, we can eat the same, but at the end of the day, physiologically, a man's biochemistry is not the same as a woman's biochemistry. So for example, if you are in a relationship, husband and wife, domestic partners, whatever the situation may be, you and your husband or you and your significant other may not necessarily be able to be on the exact same plan, because again, we deal with different things metabolically and we deal with different things hormonally as well. Does your body have any nutrient deficiencies? And this is something that we don't discuss, that most trainers and most nutritionists, unfortunately, do not discuss. They tell you to take your vitamins, they tell you to take your supplements, they tell you to eat your vegetables, but they don't necessarily give you a reason why. Nutrient deficiencies can cause issues metabolically, they can cause issues hormonally. And what you're going to see as we get later on into the presentation is that sometimes some of the reasons why we are not losing fat in certain areas is because we are deficient in certain nutrients that our bodies are not getting. Okay. Is everybody following me so far? I know I was talking pretty quickly. Let me know if you are following me, if you understand everything that I've gone through so far, or if you have any questions. I'll wait about a minute for anybody to ask any questions. You can ask them in the Q&A section if you're able to see that. If you're not able to see that, you can ask them on Facebook, but either ask a question or let me know that everything's good and you're understanding what I'm saying. And I've got somebody who is reaching out to me again on Facebook, so I'll check that while we're waiting for you guys. What did she say? Okay, Sierra says, I'm good. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Anybody have any questions? Okay, Fred says, yep, got you. Okay, no, Anna says, got you. Fred says he's good. So everybody's good. Okay, so now let's start talking about what your body composition is. Your body composition is comprised of your total lean muscle mass, your total body fat mass, along with your body fat percentage. Your total lean muscle mass, total body fat mass, and body fat percentage. I'm going to say that again, because a lot of times when people talk about body composition, all they want to discuss is how much lean muscle they have without taking into consideration your total body fat mass along with your body fat percentage. I don't care if you have 195 pounds of what you want to call pure lean muscle. If 35% of your body composition is fat, it is still a problem. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some different ways that you can collect information for your own body composition as well as your body fat. Okay, I'm going to show you 3 different ways to do this. And I'm going to tell you which way is going to be the most accurate. So I'm going to show you the easiest way to do this. I'm going to give you another way to do this. And then I'll show you the way that's going to be the most accurate that might take a little bit more time, but it'll make more sense to you. So the first method, and you may have seen this, is called bioelectrical impedance analysis. So if you see this young lady here on the right hand side, I don't know if you've ever seen that apparatus. A lot of personal trainers use it. I actually have that machine myself, and there's another version of it that a lot of gyms actually have, where you stand on it, you take your socks and your shoes off, you stand on the metal, and you hold on to these bars. And basically what it does is it sends a small electrical pulse up through your feet. And what it's doing is it's looking for areas of resistance. So muscle is going to be a better conductor of electricity than fat. And what it does is it takes the resistance based on your body fat and it puts it into an algorithm based on your age, your height, and let's see, it's your age, your height, and your overall body weight. And from that, it'll put it into the algorithm and then it'll spit out a percentage for you. Now, it's very, very quick and easy to use. These machines are not expensive at all. As a matter of fact, the machine that I got from Directron cost me $68. So it's really not that expensive. It is easy to use, but it does come with a few disadvantages. It does not consider the location of your body fat. And for women, this becomes a problem because the algorithm does not account for your breast mass. And so a lot of times what happens is the total body fat mass is going to be exaggerated, especially in women, because we have the additional breast mass and it does not account for that additional mass. It's also affected by multiple factors. So if you are going to buy this particular machine, there's a couple of things that you need to take into consideration. The time of day, meaning either earlier in the day or later in the day. I don't know if you've ever tried, but your weight actually fluctuates throughout the day, and so do your hydration levels. So for example, if you hop on this machine or if you go into a gym and the person says, hey, hop on this machine, let me show you your body fat, and you are dehydrated or you're not as hydrated as you should be, what's going to happen is it's going to tell you that your body fat is a lot higher than it actually is, if that makes any sense. Let me go back to it. Also, if your body temperature is fluctuating. So for example, when your body temperature is cooler, when you're cold, what happens is the membranes around your cells are not as fluid. So it becomes a little bit more difficult for the electrical current to, it becomes a little bit more difficult for your body mass to actually conduct the current, to handle that electricity. So what's going to happen is it's going to spit back a number that's higher in body fat. So that's going to be the disadvantages of using that machine. However, it is very quick and easy to use. It doesn't require a lot of math because it's something that the computer is going to do for you, but it's not going to help you break down exactly where you're holding your body fat. Another method that we can use is using the tape measurement. Now, it's simple, it's cheap because tape measures are like what, $2 a piece. But here's the issue with using a tape measure. And a lot of times people will say, okay, I don't look at the scale, but I look at inches on my body. But here's the problem. Now, if you're talking about somebody who has a lot of body fat to lose, then yes, then the tape measure is if you don't have any other apparatus to use, then the tape measure is going to be a fairly decent way of being able to track your inches and being able to see exactly where you're holding your fat. So for example, if the measurements in your thighs aren't getting any smaller, but the measurements in your hips are getting smaller, well, it means that it might mean that you're holding on to more weight in your thighs. However, if you are in a situation where you hit, quote unquote, what we trainers like to call the sweet spot, which is that short period of time where you happen to be burning fat and building muscle at the exact same time or developing muscle at the same time, then what could happen is an increase in the tape measurement can actually mean that you have put on some muscle mass. And it may not necessarily mean that you're putting on additional fat. So what happens is it causes people to make changes in their diet and exercise that may be unnecessary because you don't really get the full picture. Does that make sense? Is everybody following me so far? Let me know that you're following me so far. Okay, Fred says yes. Making sure that this makes sense to everybody. All right, so I think everybody's following along so far. Kyla, okay, so she's able to comment on YouTube. Okay, cool. So she's able to comment. Maybe it came on or something. I don't know. There's no telling with this technology. All right. Okay, so Anna says making sense. She's like, yep, got it. Okay, so everybody so far is good. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the most accurate way of obtaining your body fat. So what I'm going to do really quickly is I'm going to stop sharing this and I'm going to go back so that you guys can see me. Let me know that you can see me because I'm about to show you something. I'm about to show you something really quickly. But I want to make sure that you can see me so that you can see what I'm about to show you. Let me know that you can see me. Let me know that you can see me on the screen. Because I want to make sure that you can see this little thing that I'm getting ready to show to you. Okay. Kyla says she can see me. Okay. Can everybody else see me? I know she's on YouTube. Awesome. Can everybody else see me? Okay. Hopefully you can. Because she's saying she can see me, but hopefully everybody else can see me. So this little, okay, what is he saying? Fred says, okay, Fred says yes. Okay, great. So Fred can see me. Awesome sauce. And oh wow, did the color just clear up? That's crazy. Okay, Terrence says going great. Everybody says going okay. Everybody's good. Cool beans. Awesome. The color. See, I'm telling you guys, I don't let anything shut me down. You see? Did you see how the color just cleared up? Yeah, it's because I'm a certified badass. Okay, so sorry. Okay, so here we go. So this little thing right here. Okay, this is a set of. This is what we call skin calipers. Okay. You may have seen one of these before, but I think that everybody should have one. This is just my personal opinion. And I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna show you on the screen really quickly all of the different sites that you're gonna use this from. But this is what we call a skin caliper. And I'm gonna tell you why this is amazing. Because not only can you get your body fat percentage from this, this is gonna give you the subcutaneous body fat. Okay. And by subcutaneous body fat, that means the body fat that's under the skin. And for all intents and purposes, it's the body fat that everybody cares about. It's the body fat that determines whether or not you can see the separation in your biceps. It's the body fat that determines whether or not you can see your abs. It's the body fat that determines whether or not you can see that separation between the butt and the hamstring and the quads. That's the body fat that everybody is concerned about. Now, really quickly, let me go back to that little machine. The bioimpedance machine, the bioelectrical impedance analysis machine, the little one that I showed you earlier. I think that everybody should have that machine as well too, simply because that machine will also give you what is called your visceral fat. Your visceral fat is the fat that surrounds like your liver, your kidneys, extra abdominal fat, and that can actually give you an idea of what your chances are of developing some type of metabolic dysfunction or heart disease. So I do think that everybody should have one of those. Again, I got mine from Directron for like $68. There's different ones. I'm pretty sure you can find one on eBay or Amazon for cheaper. But again, back to the skin caliper. Make sure that you write this down. Make sure that you write this down. The skin caliper. This will tell you what your body fat percentage is. But because you're taking the body fat percentage on specific sites on your body, it will also give you an opportunity to determine what sites on your body are holding on to the most fat. What sites on your body are holding on to fat that won't leave. And the reason why that information is important is because that gives you a lot of information on the hormonal environment that you are dealing with. Holding fat in different areas means that you are having issues with different hormones, or that you could potentially be having issues with different hormones. Am I making sense so far? Let me know that I'm making sense so far, because what we're about to get into next is some very specific information that I know you're gonna, that I would hope that you would want to write down, especially if you already have an idea of where you think you're holding the most fat. We're about to get into the information of, you know, this is what this means. This is what these are some of the hormones that could be affected. And this may be the reason why you're having these issues. So please, please, please let me know that this is making sense to you before I move on. Because I want to make sure that we're on point. Okay, she says, I can see you. Making sense. I feel like I should be sitting on telephone books. Princess, can you get Mama a pillow? I know, I'm so short people problems. This world was not meant for people who are, you know, sometimes I feel like it's discriminatory against people who are like below 5'9".
Wait, how tall are you?
I am 5'3" and 3/4.
Wow, you're really short.
Yeah.
Timothy's taller than you, right?
Yes, my oldest son is taller than me. So is this making sense to everybody so far? Let me do one more check. And then we're going to go ahead and get into the good stuff. So again, please, please, please make sure that you have your pen and paper handy and that you are taking notes, because it's about to go down. Oh yeah.
Crazy mom.
Okay, so I am about to show you a PDF document that I use for my clients that shows you exactly where you're going to take. If you get one of these, it's going to show you exactly where you're going to take those measurements. And I'm going to go area by area and let you know what those issues may mean. Okay. All right, here we go. We're going to screen share. She says, making a lot of sense. All right, Kyla. Thank you, ma'am. Screen share.
Mom, remember screen cheese?
Screen cheese.
Yeah. The hotel can screen.
Okay, let's do this. Okay, screen share. All right, give me a minute. I'm trying to do the screen share, and it just took out everything that I wanted to share. Hello. Okay, so now it's not allowing me to screen share, but that's okay because I know how to make copies. Give me 1 minute. Okay, so because it's not allowing me to screen share, I'm going to have to just kind of show you this piece of paper that I have right here. So it is what it is. I have no idea what's going on with Google Hangouts right now, but more than likely, this is probably going to be the last time that I use them. Okay, so here we go. We're going to go ahead and start from the, let me look here, the abdominal area. Okay, can everybody see that? So basically what you would do, and there's websites that will allow you to see exactly where the sites are, and you can put in the numbers and it'll calculate that for you. But you would take a piece of, or basically go down to your abdominal, okay, and you would open it like a gun, grab the piece of skin, and if you can see that, what it's doing is it's giving you a measurement. And that measurement is going to be in millimeters. Okay, so that's how you would use this little apparatus. If you are noticing that the fat in the abdominal area is not moving. Now let me say this. Let me back up. Let me back up. First things first. If your body fat is over 35%, then these measurements are going to be arbitrary because the body fat is increased all over. So what you're looking for is areas where the body is changing and areas where the body is not changing. If you notice that the body is not changing in the abdominal area, there are a couple of things that are happening. A lot of people will say, well, what you need to do is you need to go ahead and cut all of your carbs. Cut all of your carbs. No rice, no potatoes, no turnips. You know, some people say cut asparagus. Cut all of your carbs and that'll make the belly go away. That's probably the worst thing that you can do. And that's going to be a completely different webinar when we start talking about why your body needs carbohydrates and why completely cutting off all of your carbs is one of the worst things that you can do for your metabolism. We're not on that today, but we will discuss it. If you are complying with your diet, complying with your meal plan that you've set for yourself or you've gotten from a trainer or a nutritionist or whoever, and you are committed 90% compliant, about 85 to 90% compliant on your workout program, and you notice that the fat in your abdominal area is not moving, then what is happening is that you are having an issue with your cortisol levels. I don't care how many carbs you cut out. You can cut out all of your carbs and never eat a carb another day in your life. You are still going to have that additional belly fat if you do not take care of the cortisol. So here's a couple of things that you can do. The first thing you can do is make sure that you're getting at least 6 to 8 hours of sleep. That's probably not what a lot of people wanted to hear, but it is the truth. And I don't think people understand that sleeping 2 to 3 hours a night increases your cortisol on a daily basis, to the point to where you could get to where you're increasing your cortisol on an hourly basis, on a minutely basis, because you're not getting enough rest and you're not allowing your body to repair itself. So yes, I know you wanted me to say, cut out all of your carbs and it'll make the belly fat go away. That may not necessarily be the issue. It may be that you're not balancing out that particular hormone and you're not handling your stress properly. So if you noticed, or if you remember earlier in the presentation, one of the factors that I gave you that affects your metabolism is your stress. And when your body is stressed, your cortisol will increase. And what cortisol does is it tells your body to store your fat around your abdominal area. Point blank, period, end of story. Anybody have any questions about that? And I'm just going to different forums here. To see what people have, what questions people have. So here's some dietary things that you can do, or here's some things that you can add or maybe increase in your diet that you may not already have. Spinach, lentils or beans, but lentils, citrus fruits, omega-3 fatty acids, which you can find in your fish, microgreens. So that's going to be like your cabbage, cilantro, just different kinds of greens. Basil, not the basil that comes in the seasoning can, the one that's already dried up and beat up and you really can't do much with, but the actual fresh basil, and adding that to your meals. So those are some of the things that you can add to your diet or manipulate in your diet to help you with your cortisol levels. But you also have to understand that at the same time, you need to make sure that you're managing your stress, whether that's going to be using breathing techniques, whether it's going to be doing yoga, whatever your technique of choice is going to be. Because if you add all of these things to your diet and you're not managing your stress, you're still going to have a hard time getting rid of that additional belly fat. Any questions so far? Does anybody have any questions? Are we making sense? She says, okay, she's still doing good. Okay. Any questions so far? All right. So the next region of fat that I'm going to talk about is the triceps. And when I discuss the triceps for men, I'm going to be discussing the triceps and the chest area. So that's going to be this area back here and the chest area. And for women, I'm going to be discussing the triceps and the thigh area. So again, for men, triceps and chest. For women, triceps and thighs. Men, if you are holding on to extra fat in your tricep and in your chest area, it probably means that your testosterone is low. I'm going to say that again. If you are holding on to extra fat in your triceps and in your chest area, it probably means that your testosterone is low. Now, does this mean that you need to go out and get a testosterone supplement or a testosterone shot? That is something that you're going to need to, that you would need to discuss with your doctor. But what I would say is that if you are on a program for 6 months or longer, and you are still not dropping any additional fat in your tricep area or in your chest area or in both areas, then more than likely you probably would need to have your testosterone checked. Does anybody have any questions about that? Now, what I would say, again, give your body 6 months. And in that 6 months, you want to make sure that you are increasing your vitamin D and your zinc. Increasing your vitamin D and your zinc. So that's going to be your seafood, your shrimp, pumpkin seeds, coconut, strawberries, almond milk. Now, I say almond milk because I'm not too much of a fan of cow's milk, but if you drink cow's milk and you get your vitamin D from there, then you may want to consider that as well. But if you are not losing any body fat in your tricep area or in your chest area, it probably means that you're having an issue with your testosterone. And again, give your body 6 months to be compliant with your meal planning and with your exercising. If within 6 months you're still not seeing any change, then you would probably want to sit down with your doctor and have a conversation about checking your testosterone levels. For women, triceps and the thighs, same concept, same time frame. If you are 85 to 90% compliant on your diet and on your exercise, and after 6 months you are still not losing any body fat in your triceps or in your thigh area, then you may have an issue where your estrogen levels are higher than they should be. I'm going to say that again. If you are not losing body fat in your tricep area or in your thigh area, you may have an issue with your estrogen levels being too high. And after 6 months, if you're not seeing any significant change, then you may want to sit down with your physician and have a conversation about whether or not your estrogen levels need to be looked at. In the meantime, what you can do during this process, and again, notice that what I'm saying is that this requires that you have been 85 to 90% compliant on your meal plan and on your exercise. If you have not been compliant with your plan, then you can't be 35% compliant and then turn around and say, well, it's my estrogen. No, it could be the fact that you're not compliant. But if you're 85 to 90% compliant and you're still not experiencing any fat loss in those areas, then it may be your estrogen levels. In the meantime, what you can do is you can add or increase your cruciferous vegetables. So that's going to be your broccoli, your cauliflower, your kale. What else do I have down here? Spinach, yams, potatoes, tomatoes, Brussels sprouts, beets, and your red meats. Now, of course, you know, your red meats, you want to make sure that you're doing that sparingly, but if you're not having any, you may want to add some unless you are vegan or vegetarian. So again, spinach, broccoli, yams, tomatoes, Brussels sprouts, carrots. Those are some of the things that you want to start adding to your diet. Again, you're adding those things to your diet. If you're 6 months compliant and you do 85 to 95 and 90% compliant and there's no change, you may want to have a discussion with your physician. Any questions about that so far? And I'm just checking the different forums. Okay, Taryn says, great stuff. My problem is I have insomnia. Okay, Taryn, are you saying that you can't sleep at night? Because so let's go back to that. Let's go back to the sleep. And we're probably talking about that at abdominal fat and cortisol levels. So if you are having trouble sleeping, here's and this is a tip I forgot to give when I was on that particular section. Here's a couple of things that you can do. The easiest thing for you to do would probably I'm gonna give you 3 different things that you can do, and you can determine what's going to be best for you based on what you're comfortable with. The first thing I'm going to tell you to do is try chamomile tea. The herbs in chamomile tea are shown to help naturally increase your melatonin. And if you're naturally increasing your melatonin at night, it's going to be easier for you to get to sleep. Okay. The second suggestion I'm going to give you is if you are interested in taking a supplement, you may want to go to the store and look for what is called, it's going to say melatonin with L-theanine, not just melatonin, but melatonin with L-theanine. That's T-H-E-A-N-I-N-E. Melatonin with L-theanine. Why? Because L-theanine is an amino acid that helps to turn your brain off when it's time for you to go to sleep. So if you've ever experienced that, and I know a lot of us have, I experience it a lot, where you lay down to go to sleep, but your mind is going. It's going from everything that happened earlier in the day. It's going from everything that happened yesterday, everything that happened the day before, and it's going, and it won't stop. And that means that your body is not releasing the L-theanine, and your brain is not shutting off. And what I do like about taking the melatonin with the L-theanine supplement is that it's not, it does not cause a codependence. And so what happens is when you experience those periods of time where it's hard for you to sleep, then you can take the supplement. And once you feel like your sleep patterns have been regulated again, you can stop taking the supplement and you'll still be able to sleep and you'll still have the same effects. And then later on, if you go through another stressful situation or another stressful period of time and you find yourself not being able to sleep again because your brain won't turn off, then you can start taking the supplement again. So that's why I like that particular supplement. In terms of brand, I don't really have a particular favorite brand. The only thing that I would say is just make sure that it's GMP certified. G as in girl, M as in Mary, P certified. That's the only thing that I would say. But as far as a brand, I don't have a favorite brand, if that makes any sense. Any other questions so far? Okay, she says, repeat the names of the veggies for the women. Okay, so again, we're talking about estrogen levels. So spinach, broccoli, yams, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, tomatoes, beets, some red meat, not a lot. The cool thing is those same items are beneficial if it's called the subscapular area, but let me show it to you. And this, men have this too, but sometimes women have it as well. If you have that extra fat like right here, I'm trying to pull mine, but like right here at where your sports bra is, right there in the back, that upper back area. So if you're holding on to, okay, I'm looking at all this other kind of stuff. Melatonin with L-theanine. Yes, Fred, that's it. That's it right there. Melatonin with L-theanine. You spelled it right and everything. Absolutely. Sorry about that. The comments, I thought they were coming in order, but they're just, it's kind of random. So I apologize for that. So if you're having that upper back fat, and men sometimes will experience this when they get older, but again, this tends to happen a lot more with women. But that upper back area right underneath your shoulder blade back there, and you're holding on to that fat, and it won't move. What it means is that you're having an issue with your insulin sensitivity. Okay, you're having an issue with your insulin sensitivity. And so what you want to do is you want to eat foods that are going to be high in what's called alpha lipoic acid. You don't even have to worry about spelling it. Just if you see it, it's R-ALA. All right. Now, you can get a supplement for that. However, what I try to do is I try to teach people to do it with food. Okay. Because what happens with supplements is a lot of times people will use the supplements as a crutch. They'll use the supplement as a crutch. She said, please repeat the, okay. Yes, I got those. Okay. So Taryn, did you get those veggies? Did you get those veggies? And really the main ones, if you want me to go ahead and pick a top 3 or a top 4 on that particular list, I would say broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, kale. If I were to pick, just top, again, I'm one of those who believes that red meat should be used sparingly. So that's what I would say. Okay. So again, back to holding the fat in that upper back area. So there is a supplement that you can purchase from most supplement stores. It's R-ALA. R-ALA. And if you absolutely positively will not eat spinach, you will not touch broccoli, you will not touch a Brussels sprout, then you may want to consider getting that that supplement. So again, those are going to be the same thing: spinach, broccoli, yams, tomatoes. And while we're on tomatoes, I'm going to give you an interesting fact really quickly. I do believe I do have one man on the line. I'm going to give you an interesting fact. Interesting. 2 facts. So tomatoes, when they are cooked, have what are called lycopenes. And the lycopenes in cooked tomatoes actually turn on a gene in men that fights all of the things that go on inside of you and keeps you from getting prostate cancer. Now, let me say this. I'm not a physician. I'm not saying that tomatoes heal prostate cancer. But what I am talking about is the field of science called nutrigenomics. And it basically discusses how different foods affect the genetic makeup and what goes on with you internally. And so cooked tomatoes with those lycopenes turn on a gene that helps to fight prostate cancer cells in men. Okay. I'll give you another interesting fact for people who say, I absolutely cannot eat broccoli. Okay. So we've already talked about if you're holding fat in your triceps for women and in your thighs, estrogen might be an issue. Broccoli is a good thing. We've already talked about that. We've already talked about if you're holding this extra fat back here, broccoli is a good thing. People are like, oh my God, I absolutely can't eat broccoli. I won't touch it. Okay, here we go. There is a gene in the liver that we have that is only turned on when you eat broccoli. They don't know why. And there's not a whole lot of understanding on the subject, but it is only turned on when you eat broccoli. And that gene, again, is a cancer cell fighting gene. It is only turned on when you eat broccoli. So as I'm giving you these vegetables to help you with the different areas in your body, if you're like, ooh, oh my God, I can't eat that. Oh my God, I can't eat that. Consider that. Because sometimes we need to learn how to eat to live and not just to live to eat. If that makes any sense. Everybody following me so far? I have to keep refreshing. Any questions so far? Everybody good so far? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and assume that everybody is doing okay so far. Okay. One last area that I want to talk about is the area, it's right above your pelvic region in the lower abdominal area. It's called the suprailiac area. Okay. If you are holding on to fat in that area, then what it means is that your body is releasing too much insulin when you take in your meals. Okay. Now, the suggestion that I'm going to give you, I want you to pay very close attention to the wording that I am using. We ready? We're ready. Okay. If you are holding fat in that area, and let me show it to you. I'm going to try to see if I can show it to you on here. No, that's my skin girth. One. Okay, but you can't really see it. So this area right here. So if you look right here, okay. See, when I poke mine, that's hard. But if you poke yours and it's squishy, and you've got some extra fat right there in that area when you pinch it with the skin calipers, what it means is that your body is releasing too much insulin. Okay? Your body is releasing too much insulin. So listen to what I'm about to say. What you need to do is do a better job of controlling your carbs. I did not say cut your carbs. I did not say discontinue your carbs. I did not say do away with your carbs. I said control your carbs. What does this mean? What it means is that you may need to implement some strategies, some nutrient timing strategies, meaning that, for example, I love rice. Okay. Love rice. Absolutely love rice. You may love potatoes. You may want to schedule your rice or your potato or whatever your starchy carb of choice is around the time when you know you're going to be having a lot of physical activity. So that's working out. If you know you're going to be cleaning your house, anytime you know you're going to be having a lot of physical exertion, a lot of physical activity, you may want to schedule the majority of your carbs around that time. So again, it doesn't mean take them all away. It just means control them, if that makes any sense. Okay. Now, if we're going to talk about supplements, again, I talked about RALA. I talked about melatonin with L-theanine. You may also want to look into getting some branched chain amino acids, BCAAs. The branched chain amino acids are your L-leucine, L-isoleucine, L-valine. So L-leucine is actually an amino acid that helps to increase your fat burn. Okay. Now, some sources of that you can get naturally without having to get the supplement would be salmon, eggs, and beef, if you want to have that occasionally. Now, L-valine, which is another one of the branched chain amino acids, that's a very interesting one because that one has been studied a lot. And what they find is that if your body is deficient in that, then that whole exchange where you're developing muscle and dropping body fat, it almost doesn't happen because your body won't be able to properly develop the muscle that you have. Or for those of you who may be on a growth program, you may not be able to properly grow your muscles. It can seriously impede your muscle growth. And so two of the best sources for L-valine and L-isoleucine, but mainly L-valine, are going to be like your nuts, walnuts being a big one. Nuts and peas. Nuts and peas. I know peas aren't paleo for people who are into the paleo craze. But those are some of the items that you may want to find. The other thing you may want to consider adding is maybe some fish oils. Okay. Again, everybody's budget is different. Everybody's taste buds are different, but you've got to make sure that you're making up for the deficiency somewhere. And if you're not going to be able to do it with your food, then you may want to consider doing it with supplementation. Okay. So those are some of the items on the list. Now, the next subject up for discussion is, when should I talk to my doctor? When should I talk to my doctor? Once again, I'm not a physician. But what I can tell you is that in my experience with my previous clients, you have to be willing to give yourself at least 6 months of dietary compliance. Compliance with your diet, compliance with your physical activity. If after that 6-month mark, areas of fat are still not dropping off, and 100% that you've been compliant, you may want to consider asking your physician for some lab testing. And when you do discuss lab testing, one of the things you need to ask for is this. You don't want normal ranges. You want optimal ranges. Because unfortunately, when they send the lab test back, you could be 1 point away from being a pre-diabetic. But because it's within normal range, they're going to tell you that it's normal. But you're 1 point away from being pre-diabetic. But you would know that because you're not asking about the optimal ranges. You're only asking about normal ranges. So that's the advice that I would give in terms of speaking with your physician if you need to potentially consider lab testing in the future. The other test that you may want to consider is having what is called a food sensitivity test. Now, if you're taking notes, you may want to make sure that you take notes on this. And I'm just checking to make sure that we don't have any additional questions. She says, I love broccoli and spinach. Can you have as much as you want daily? Spinach, yes. Broccoli for women, be a little bit careful with that because broccoli can cause some bloating. All right. And that's where, you know, this food sensitivity test is going to come in that I'm going to tell you about. So a food sensitivity test is different from an allergy test. A food allergy test says, if I eat this food, am I going to die? If I eat this food, am I going to break out in these weird, crazy, ridiculous hives? Are my eyes going to swell shut? Are my lips going to swell and cover my entire face? Okay, she says, does asking for optimal ranges cost more? It should not, okay? Because the lab test is the lab test. You know, with your physician, if your insurance would cover that. Because what happens is, and I'm going to get back to the food sensitivity test here in a minute. What happens is when you take the test, they have all of these different ranges and they send it back and say, you are within this range. Okay. All of the numbers are there. Your doctor has access to all of the numbers. So there's nothing additional that anybody needs to do. There should not be, any additional charge for asking for optimal ranges. You're just asking for your physician to be more specific with you. There should not be an additional cost for that. It says people who don't like veggies just need to learn how to prepare them flavorfully. That is true. And we're gonna have a webinar on that one too. Yeah, so Angela, no, asking for the optimal ranges does not cost more. Your insurance should not charge you more for that. That's stupid. They you know, and trust me, depending on, somebody might try it. They might try it. It's all on a piece of paper. It's one little piece of paper. All he has to do is tell you whether or not it's optimal. And I'm sure he has an app on his phone, or she has an app on her phone where they can tell you whether or not it's optimal. Now, there's a lot of other places that you can get it if your insurance won't cover it, if your physician won't order it. I actually have a system where I can actually get testing for my clients as well. So I don't actually physically do the testing, but I do offer the testing as well. So there's a lot of different ways that you can get it, but I always try to encourage people to ask their physicians for it first to get your insurance to cover for it so that you're not coming out of pocket. Okay, so back to the food sensitivity test. Food sensitivity, what that means is, if I eat this food, is it going to cause inflammation? And inflammation, these are the things that you can't see, right? So, for example, I had a food sensitivity test done a few years back. And what I found, or what they found, was that I had become sensitive to yellow onions. Why did I become sensitive to yellow onions? Because I eat them all the time. I put them in almost everything. And what happens is, a lot of times the foods that we eat the most, we become sensitive to. So for example, it is possible to have a sensitivity to sea bass. If you eat sea bass all the time, eventually you'll develop a sensitivity to it. If you eat broccoli or spinach or tomatoes all the time, eventually you will develop a sensitivity to it. And what that means is that it will cause some pockets of inflammation inside your body. Well, what happens when you have inflammation? Well, then, you know, it's hard for you to balance your blood sugar. It's hard for you to balance your hormones. And then you start packing on additional weight in all of these different places, and it won't leave. So that's the other thing that you need to consider, you know, before asking for that particular lab test. If you're going to test your testosterone or your estrogen or anything like that, you might want to consider making sure that you're not eating something that you're sensitive to. So again, it's not a food allergy test. It's a food sensitivity test. Okay. So, and one of the things with broccoli is that broccoli tends to end up on that list a lot, because typically people who like green vegetables really like broccoli. And so they eat it all the time. You eat it all the time, your body becomes sensitive to it. Now, if you get a food sensitivity test and they say that this is a list of things that you are sensitive to, and they'll give you different ranges, it doesn't mean that you can never eat it again. What it may mean is that you may want to rotate it out of your diet for about 90 days. Rotate it out of your diet for about 90 days. Maybe have another food sensitivity test done. If it still shows up, rotate it out for another 90 days. If it doesn't show up again, then that means that it should be okay for you to start reintroducing that to your diet. Does anybody have any questions so far? And I know I'm looking down, but I'm looking at all of the different forums where people can ask me questions. So does anybody have any questions so far? Let me just go back up. I want to make sure that I'm not missing anybody before I get into my free gift stuff. Okay, Fred says, can your primary doctor request the food sensitivity test? Yes, your primary doctor can request the food sensitivity test. Sometimes it can be a little bit of a challenge because sometimes they don't want to order the test if there's not something immediately wrong. So you really have to build that relationship with your physician and really make sure that they understand that you're trying to be proactive instead of reactive. And so sometimes they won't order tests if there's not like an immediate need that they can see for the test. And again, if you're unable to get it from your physician, then there are a lot of other private labs that can do that testing as well. Any other questions? Any other questions? I'm trying to catch these because these are coming sort of sporadically, not in any particular order. So I'm just trying to make sure that I don't miss anybody. Okay, so I think we're good now. How does everybody feel about the information that was given tonight? How do we feel about it so far? All right, so let's see. How many people do I have on this? I have Anna. One, two, three, I believe 5, 6 people. Okay. So I tell you what. Here's what I'm going to do. Everybody who's on this webinar tonight, what I want you to do is I want you to shoot me a message to my inbox. I'm going to order one of these for each of you, and I'm going to send it to you. That's the free gift. Gonna order one of these for each of you, and I'm gonna send it to you. How we feel about that? So what I want you to do right now is shoot me a message to my Facebook inbox right now, letting me know what you thought. Taryn says, very good and very informative. Awesome. Letting me know what you thought about the presentation tonight. Matter of fact, not even to my inbox. If you can do me a favor, I tell you what you do. Do me a favor and thank you. Do me a favor, and I'm going to post the link from my Facebook page into this group thing. All right, give me 1 minute. Because I really appreciate y'all. I said y'all. I really appreciate you all hanging out with me tonight and being so super duper patient about these technical issues that we were having on Google Hangout Air and all of that. And I really, really, really appreciate you guys hanging out. So give me 1 minute here and then I'll be done. You learn anything from tonight? Learn that the internet can't shut you down unless you let it. I know, right? I'm so lame. I'm such a dork. It's all right though.
You're not.
No, you're not. He says I'm not a dork. It's all good. Copy. Okay, so I'm going to paste this link to my Facebook page, and I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to post it. So if you were on the webinar, then you'll know exactly what to do with it. What I want you to do is I want you to click on that link, and I want you guys to leave me a comment and a review. But leave me a comment and let me know what you thought about this information and what you thought about this webinar. And if you do that, then what I will do is I will send you an email asking you for your mailing address, and I will order a skin caliper, a set of skin calipers, and I will send it to you. Okay? So go to the page, click on my Facebook page, not the event, but my actual Facebook page. Leave me a note letting me know what you thought of the webinar and a review, and I will send you one of these. Okay? So, I hope you guys were able to find some value in the information. I actually had a good time giving it out to you. And yeah, that's all that I've got for you guys today. So until we do this again, stay strong, stay beautiful. Always, always, always work towards becoming a stronger you. I will see you guys again next Tuesday. Bye. Peace out.